All right, it being 6 p.m., I call this Village of Harrison Village Board meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, now we'll do roll call. Trustee Lancaster. Here. Trustee Brandmeier. Here. Trustee Van Hefty. Here. Trustee Teal. Here. Trustee Baldwin. Here. Village President is here. We do have a quorum. Next up, identification of potential conflicts of interest. Having reviewed the agenda, is there anyone here that has any potential conflicts of interest that they want to identify? There being none, we will move on to number 5, correspondence or communication from board and staff. I guess first I want to thank the Public Works Department for the snow plowing in the, what was it, Blizzard Elsa? The most snow we got since, at one time, since 89, 88 or something like that. So thanks for the hard work from the Public Works Department. I think for the most part, pretty well received from the public. What a good job they did. So thanks to them. Anybody have any communication or more say? Next up, we have correction and approval of the previous meeting minutes for February 24th, 2026 and March 10th. 2026, looking for a motion and a second for both of those. Trustee Lancaster.
Motion to approve the minutes from February 24th and March 10th, 2026.
Trustee Van Hefty.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Trustee Lancaster and a second by Trustee Van Hefty. Any discussion on the meeting minutes? There being no discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up, we have public comments. The board will receive information from the public in accordance with state statute 19.842. The advised board discussion is limited to only clarify the information received. No action shall be taken under public comments. General procedure is to allow each person 3 minutes to speak, although the president may grant extensions, reduce time, or limit the number of like-minded speakers on this topic. Anyone wishing to speak should register their name on the sign-in sheet prior to the start of the meeting. And with that said, it looks like we have Ray Smith wishes to speak. Could you please come up, please?
Can you grab the turn on the public mic? Thank you.
Okay, there you go.
Test.
You can write your address right here.
Hello, Ray Smith, N9536 Highline Road. It's been a while since I've been to one of these meetings, but I would like to say, the property across the road from me, the Malbank property, I would still like to keep that zone as single family home. like Mel wished to do. Thank you very much.
Right. Anyone else that maybe not have signed up would like to come and speak? Next up, we have reports. We have the various reports that was in everyone's packets. Does anyone, after reviewing the packet, have any questions on the reports? Trustee Baldwin?
I do. Jared, this question is for you. And first of all, great report, thank you. And I noticed that when we got you looking for the response times, I was just wondering if there's a point in time where we're gonna split those between fire stations 60 and 70. The reason I asked that is because response time was one of the major drivers in putting, building a new station. And I just wanted to know how we'll compare, what we're getting now out of the location we're at versus what we'll get when we move to the new location.
That will be very tricky to do because of the way. That would be very tricky to do because of the way Calumet County dispatch records over times. So when we acknowledge the call, it doesn't matter which station acknowledges the call, that's what they put in. And when we're in route, it doesn't matter if it's station 60 or 70. When we go in route, it's whichever apparatus or station gets supposed to first, that's what they log. I can have a conversation with them. I don't know the intricacies of their CAD system. We can certainly.
Okay, I just think, personally, it would be a good thing to be able to cite to people who ask about the station or, what
Right.
happened and did we get better? And if we don't know, I don't know.
Right, I can pull data from when only station 60 would roll versus only station 70 would roll. For example, carbon monoxide detectors. When they go off, we don't send the cavalry in, right? We only send who's we're closest. And I can get those times, but that's a very limited pool to pull from. I can have a conversation with Calumet Dispatch and see what they say.
Okay, and I know you've got your hands full, so I'm not asking you to, report just for report's sake. I just thought it would be valuable information as we gauge, did this make us better?
Yes, actually.
Thank you.
Trustee Lancaster?
Thank you. I guess just one other idea around that. Chief, that I know in the report here, you list all the calls and the response time is out there. But I don't know if it'd be quick and easy enough to ask right which primary response area is which. And then we would just be able to also look at that, and should see a trend line then of better response time in the 70 primary area in the monthly reports, and the public could, the monthly reports are in the packet as well, so the public could reference that. So maybe it's just an idea.
Any other questions on the reports? There being none,
Before you move off there, I just have one comment on the village manager report. I did highlight it, but there's an attachment in the packet, and it's the cost for the wastewater treatment plant upgrades, and it talked about loadings and the total cost, and our cost right now is about 2.4 million for the Neenah Menasha Sewage Commission updates. So we are working with Ellers, our financial consultant, to determine the best way to fund that, and whether it makes sense to fund it through the Clean Water Fund, which is a 20-year note, but has locks us in for 20 years. We can't pay it off early or use some other financing sources. So we'll be coming back to the board with more information. But I know our previous meeting, there was dialogue over what our portion of that 25 million dollar project will be, and it's about 2.2 million.
thank you. Next up, we have old business, but looks like we have none at this time, so this is a great job.
We have a proposal.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We do have bills and claims for February 2026. We'll be meeting approval, looking for a motion and a second on that. Trustee Baldwin,
We make a motion to approve bills and claims for February 26th as printed and distributed.
Trustee Van Hefty.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by Trustee Baldwin and a second by Trustee Van Hefty. Any discussion on the bills and claims for February 2026? There being no discussion, please vote your. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is old business, which we have none at this time, so I want to say thank you. There's a consecutive record of business starting with 11A.
This is a certified survey map for John and Susan Drewski. 62-41068 and 41070, and the motion is to approve the certified survey. A second driveway access point is permitted contingent upon removal of the existing garage, as well as approval of a zoning permit for a new structure and issuance of a right of way.
Trustee
For John and Susan Whiskey. In 6465 Harrison Road, with the listed condition.
Trustee Lancaster.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by trustee Thiel and a second by trustee Lancaster. Any discussion? Discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11E.
This is the site plan review for Queen of Cleaning, W5006 Amy Avenue, parcel 45302. And the motion is to approve the site plan for Queen of Cleaning, W5006 Amy Avenue with the following conditions. The conditions below must be met before the site plan permit is issued. Number 1, a detailed site plan review pursuant to Article 13 of the zoning ordinance shall be completed prior to issuance of the zoning and building permits. 2, the site plan is subject to the review and recommendations of the Village of Harrison's engineer of record. 3, a grading and drainage stormwater management plan and erosion control plan shall be reviewed and approved by the village engineer and village staff. 4, the village staff recommends an exception to the 25-foot rear setback, allowing the building to encroach 3 feet into the rear yard setback due to site constraints, including parking stall depth and the corner lot configuration. 5, only those uses permitted in the applicable zoning district shall be allowed within the development. And 6, all applicable local counties and state rules, regulations, and ordinances shall be met.
Trustee Van Houten.
Yes, I'll make the motion to approve the site plan review, Queen of Cleaning, W5006 Amy Avenue, parcel 45302 is printed and circulated.
Trustee Brandmeyer.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by trustee Van Hefty and a second by trustee Brandmeyer. Any discussion? Trustee Lancaster.
Thank you. 2 questions. I see it, plan commission was 4-2, so just wondered anything you can share on that, and then also. For the exception on the rear yard setback, is that something as a village board we should be doing, or should that really go to the zoning board of appeals? For them to. Evaluate that, I wasn't sure what the proper procedure was, and we have that zoning board of appeals. I really don't have to meet very often, but. Just consistency, wondering.
So, the reason for as I understand it, the reason for the 4-2 vote, and Mark can confirm this, was there was some concerns about that exception. And then the overall site plan review, I guess, related to the exception. It could go to the zoning board of appeals. Typically, if you're coming before the planning commission and the board, you can grant these exceptions as part of that process per the ordinance. So usually the stuff that goes to the zoning board of appeals is stuff that's already been approved and not going through the full review process. So the statute and the ordinance allows the board to approve that at this stage. What I would say about this exception is the property directly to the north of where this is going to be built it's a parking lot for an automotive place, and there's a ton of cars on the back lot line. So it's not like this is up against a residential property, it's up against another commercial property, and in order to, as I understand it, the order to meet the depth of the parking stalls in the new parking lot, the building needed to be shifted that 3 feet to the north, and staff didn't have any issues, given that the zoning district is commercial for the adjacent property.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? There are no other discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11C.
This is the municipal code update, chapter 8, businesses and business regulations. And the motion is to approve the adoption of the revised chapter 8 business and business regulations.
Don't be shy, we'll get a bunch of these. Trustee Baldwin,
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of the revised chapter 8 businesses and business regulations.
trustee Field.
I'll second.
So you get a motion by trustee Baldwin and a second by trustee Field. Any discussion on this? There being no discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11B.
This is the municipal code update, chapter 18, parks and recreation. And the motion is to approve adoption of the revised chapter 18, parks and recreation.
Trustee Field,
I'll make a motion to approve the adoption of the revised chapter 18 Parks and Recreation.
trustee Brandmeyer.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by trustee Field and a second by trustee Brandmeyer. Any discussion on municipal code updates, chapter 18, parks and recreation? There being no discussion, please vote your ballot.
I have an issue here.
Another question.
Well. Can you put an eye for me? I don't know what this thing is doing now. There it is.
Just get through. Wasn't refreshing.
Maybe everybody's having a problem
I worked my fine.
then. Sure.
And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11E.
This is the municipal code update, chapter 22, public works. And the motion is to approve adoption of the revised chapter 22, public works.
Trustee Lancaster,
I'll make a motion to approve the revised chapter 22 public work.
trustee Field.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by trustee Lancaster and a second by trustee Field. Any discussion on municipal code update, chapter 22, public works?
All I wanna say under this is this was previously called streets, sidewalks and. And this decision was made to rename it to Public Works and really trying to focus in on. The stuff that Public Works that does on a daily basis versus stuff that was previously in the chapter, so that's what has a lot of red light.
And thank you for that, because that makes a lot more sense. There being no further discussion, please vote your ballot. Is your thing working now, man? Motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11.
This is the municipal code update, chapter 20, solid waste and recycling. And the motion is to table this until the March meeting to obtain public input.
To the April meeting.
Yeah, thanks, April.
Trustee Lancaster,
I'll make a motion to table municipal code update chapter 20 until the meeting at the end of April, since we have more than one in April, to allow for public comment.
Trustee Baldwin.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by trustee Lancaster and a second by trustee Baldwin to table this until the end of April for public input.
Under discussion, I just want to state that in the memo, I hope that everybody saw it, I listed where we are in this process. And we are down to like the last 4 or so chapters, so hopefully in April and May, we can try to wrap this up and put this project to bed.
And with that said, we've been talking about updating our community codes since I've been on the board for 5 years, so. Just from my personal opinion, it's very encouraging to see all this stuff coming now and getting updated, so thank you. I know you guys have done a lot, so.
The other thing I would say is if you look at Unicode today online, it just modifies the chapters, and Megan has been working with them, so at the end of the year, they're gonna give us a cost to recodify it so that all the text appears as the way it's adopted, and it gets rid of all the old stuff, so we can kind of redo the whole code book. So going into the new year, then we can have a, fresh, updated code book with all these changes.
That'd be great.
But we're kind of holding off until all these chapters are done versus piecemealing it.
Yep, makes sense. Okay, there be no further discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion to table passes unanimously. Next up is 11G.
This is a letter of intent for lot 13 in the Crossroads Business Park. And the motion is to approve the letter of intent for Boucher Electric for lot 13 in the Crossroads Business Park.
Trustee Van Hefty,
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter of intent for Boucher Electric, 13 on the Crossroad Business. Circulated.
trustee Lancaster.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by trustee Van Hefty and a second by trustee Lake. Any discussion on the letter of intent for lot 13 Crossroad Business? There being no further discussion, please vote your ballots. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11H.
This is a letter of intent for lot 3 of the Crossroads Business Park. And the motion is to approve the letter of intent for Well Host Construction Services for lot 3 in the Crossroads Business Park.
Trustee Baldwin,
I'll make a motion to approve the letter of intent for Well House Construction Services for lot 3 in the Crossroads Business Park. Just one small thing. I know this family name in it, Well House is WEL, 1L,
Oh, yeah,
and that's the way Paul has it signed.
yeah, it's okay.
Anyway, that's it.
trustee Lancaster.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by trustee Baldwin and a second by trustee Lancaster. Any discussion on letter of intent for lot 3 Crossroads Business Park? There being no discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11I.
All right, forbearance agreement update for N9097 State Highway 55, and the motion will be as determined by the board.
And the motion shall be to table this for 30 days, because since this published, the family has secured financing and is signing a contract with a contractor to renovate this. And hopefully by the end of the April, they'll be pulling building permits, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. So at this point, I would just ask the board to hold this until the end of April to see that they follow through in the process, and then we don't have to deal with doing anything else from there.
So do we actually need a vote on it, or do you want us to
I would say just make a motion to hold it. That way it's in the
want
document.
to table it or hold it?
It doesn't matter. Table is fine.
Fair. Trustee Baldwin,
I'll make a motion to table the 11I forbearance agreement update an N9097 State Highway 55 for 30 days,
Yeah, until the April, the last April.
till the last April meeting.
Trustee Brandmeier.
I'll second.
So we have a motion to table by trustee Baldwin and a second by trustee Brandmeier. Any discussion?
All I would say is it's, you all know this house on the corner of Manitowoc. It would be good for us to just keep it on the whole, and if they're willing to renovate it and be into it that's needed to take care of it, that's all we can ask in the end, and I think it's better than moving forward with a raise process.
I would agree with that. But there are no further discussion, more discussion? No, okay, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up, we have 11J.
This is various payment requests, and the motion is to approve the various payment requests for under contract work totaling $820,689.91.
Trustee Lancaster,
Motion to approve the various payments for under contract work totaling $820,689.91.
trustee Ben Hefty.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by trustee Lancaster and a second by trustee Van Hefty. Any discussion on this? Trustee Theo?
Chad, I know it was done, I think it was Johnson or Janae. There was still a temporary heat charge in this. Which it was, did that fall before we started picking that up, or are we is somebody doubled it?
The previous charges were with VOE power systems, so if there's a temporary heat in there. That shouldn't be in there, and the architect has reviewed all of these, so. Let me look into that and I'll just make sure that it's taken care of before we make payment.
Temporary heat allowance.
Did you see it on the breakdown on page
Yeah.
232?
252.
Is that the 19,420 for this period?
Yeah,
So they had their schedule overall 200,000, the previous.
I have no idea. I will have to check into that and see if that's in. Yeah, because we're paying those bills directly. So let me look into that, and if we need to modify it, we'll modify it for you. I can't answer that, I'm sorry.
Any further discussion? Do we need to make
Should we approve
amendments?
that one and not pay that one yet?
I mean, pretty much these,
Why don't you just approve it contingent upon the village manager looking into that and adjusting as necessary?
I'm fine.
Okay, I'll make that, I think I made the motion, so I'll adjust my motion to reflect that.
you okay with that? Second? Or actually, you made the second.
I'm fine with it.
Any further discussion? You got that on record? All right, go ahead and vote your ballot. So just a reminder, we're paying this, or we're approving this with the amendment that Chad will double check the temporary heat allowance that was being charged by Johnson and what's the Jonay. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11K.
All right, this is various change orders, and the motion is to approve deduct change order number 2 of Harrison Commerce Park in the amount of $15,402.19.
Trustee Baldwin,
I'll make a motion to approve, change order number 2 for Harrison Commerce Park the amount of $15,402.19.
Trustee Lancaster,
Are we doing both together? Or do you need the fire station 71 as well or not? Or
No,
okay.
that one is under the threshold of
Yeah, okay.
5,000.
Okay.
Manager approved that.
Okay, I make a second. Thanks.
so we have a motion by trustee Baldwin and a second by trustee Lancaster. Any discussion? There being no discussion, please vote your ballot. Huh?
Sorry.
And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11L.
This is for municipal employees, the performance recognition and compensation model. And the motion is to approve the proposed performance recognition and compensation model with the corresponding evaluation forms and the reclass position.
Trustee Lancaster,
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed performance recognition and compensation model with corresponding evaluation forms and the reclass position.
trustee Brennmeyer,
Oh, seconded.
and a motion was made by trustee Lancaster, and a second by trustee Brennmeyer. Any discussion? Looks like we have some. Trustee Baldwin, you're first.
Thank you. I do have a couple of questions. So who evaluates and gives the raises? Is it just the direct supervisor of the person, or does all of this come through you, Chad? And maybe it's in there and I missed it.
No, each of the supervisors will handle that. And then obviously Melissa and myself and Megan will review them before we actually approve them, but the reviewing of the goals and making the recommendation as to what they should be, what tier they should be placed at will be the discretion of the supervisor.
Okay, and then when it comes to, giving the raises and or the bonuses, I know that it said that the raises will be budgeted, but how will you do that with the bonuses? And some places that I've seen, you do kind of like a bell curve, where there's not everybody gets one that merits one, because, how would you budget that?
To be fair, that is a tough one just because, right, you don't want to go into a perceived notion of where everybody's going to lie, because you don't know, right? When you're putting the budget together, it's for the upcoming year. So you don't know, will people, satisfy what tier will they fall into? I know obviously we budgeted some contingency dollars in the past. And I know last year, obviously we didn't use all of our contingency dollars. So in my opinion, that would be a good one for it. I know, like, looking through these tiers, like tier 4 will be probably difficult for a lot of employees to get. You'd have to almost score a 5 on every single one. Not saying someone won't get that.
Right.
That one will be more difficult. But I think with our contingency dollars, I think we would be fine with being able to use those to suffice what happened, because it's tough to budget, because you could severely over budget or under budget, not knowing how the performances go for the year. Normal step increases or cost of living are very easy and typical to obviously implement into your budget, but I wouldn't probably recommend us necessarily putting money aside other than with contingency, because it's also tough to recognize what departments, or what departments those individuals will fall in. So I think it would just be easiest to take out of our contingency at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Theo,
I like what I see. It looks like a merit-based portion of this, but it's also, is there like a cost of living? Is there going to be a across the board cost of living raise that everybody gets?
So that's typically implemented with the budget. So, we do an analysis, or we can see what other communities are doing, and what, the cost of living or CPI is for the year. And we'll make a recommendation, during the budget process for what that cost of living, basically shifting our entire matrix, without even prior to shifting anybody on that matrix, just to ensure that we're keeping up with inflation. So that'll be proposed during the budget, and obviously ensuring that we can balance a budget, that'll be a portion of it that'll be presented to the board, come September, October.
So just to clarify, so that will be kind of across the board, and this is a tier on top of it for performance.
So it's
But we wanted to get away, in the past, it was there was no performance base, so it was across the board for everything. And, you know, we want to try to get where people are performing and have goals and are working towards their goals on the performance system versus just giving across the board pay increases.
So are we going to keep that in mind, you know, when we, with the cost of living, the across the board raise? You know, knowing that there is potentially significantly more to have through a merit system.
Well, I think you have to look at the salary matrix. You want to keep the integrity of that salary matrix, so you continuously have to keep updating that based on cost of living. Otherwise, you know, we're going to get very out of line with all the other communities when they're doing that. So, obviously, like the merit base is going to be, you know, based on performance or, you know, kind of exceeding expectations. And that's just a one time. So that kind of sets itself outside of that matrix to preserve that integrity. So, you know, basically you're going to, if someone exceeds, like is in tier 3, they'll get a step increase that they'll stay on the matrix. And then that additional amount is just another portion so that the salary matrix keeps its integrity and that people aren't just way exceeding it. And then that forces us into another salary study quicker too.
And that, so the merit is issued as a bonus then on one time.
Yep, the bonus or the merit will be settled basically on the last payroll of the year, and then come the first payroll of the year, that's when they would receive that step increase and a potential across the board, depending on what's approved during the budget.
Thank you.
Trustee Lancaster.
Thank you. Just want to say it's just very happy to see that. I think it's really important to reward performance, and this is enables rewarding that performance even down to our very frontline employees, which is, I think, great for morale and stuff as well. So I just want to say great job, you guys, for putting this together.
Thank you, and I just want to state that every employee has goals this year, although maybe not perfect goals. We're gonna have to do some training on having supervisors work on goals, but at least we've got a starting point and it'll be a work in progress. But we do have some civic training that they'll do online on how to work with their employees and establish goals for them.
Any further discussion? There being no further discussion, please vote your ballot. The motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11M.
This is mission, vision, core values, and strategic goals. And the motion is to approve the vision, mission, core values, and strategic goals for the village as presented, unless other input or thoughts are requested by the village board.
Trustee Van Hefty,
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the mission, vision, core values, and strategic goals as set forth and printed circulated by staff.
Trustee Lancaster,
I'll second that, and then I have a question.
so we have a motion by Trustee Van Hefty and a second by Trustee Lancaster. Any discussion?
Thank you. So seeing we did this originally in 2024, with very different staff. Just before we go to approve this, just wanted, do you have anything else suggestion wise that you'd suggest that we want to look at further here? Or are you happy with the way this looks?
So I wouldn't say that this is all 2024 work progress. This, Melissa and Megan and I, it was a guideline, if you will, of how to get to this point, but it's been massaged kind of internally. It's been reviewed with the department heads and the management team, so everybody's on board. So I think it's, some of the stuff wording was tweaked a little bit. But overall, I think it's kind of a new revision of that 2024 study.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you.
Trustee Theo,
I think it looks great. I think the content is good. Question is where and how will this be displayed, posted?
That's a good question. So we will be printing these as posters and framing them and putting up in all locations. And then as we move into the new goal writing process, this will be the basis for that, to make sure that the goals are aligned, that personal goals are aligning with the overall organizational goals as well as future capital improvements and investments in the community to make sure it all aligns with our strategic goals and our core values.
I was gonna also add that it'd probably be a good idea, or we will probably post this on the website too. It's kind of more like a sales sheet. So like under community or something like that, we'll be posting it. And then typically a lot of this information will also come through in the budget as well, especially when you're talking core values and strategic goals. You'll probably see a lot of that intertwined with the 2027 budget, since my goal is to try to get the budget award. So this is particularly important when we're looking at that as well.
I think on the homepage on the website would be great, and the newsletter may be a
Yes.
good opportunity to get it on here.
It'll also be included in the employee handbook so that all new employees have it.
My only criticism is this should have been before the last agenda item. That's okay. No, but this is great. This is what every business, every professional organization has, and how we measure employees to the goals of the organization is how you get merit and performance based pay bonuses. So thank you for doing this. This was something that you and I talked about back a year ago and said we need to get this. So here we are. So I love it. I think this is great. Thank you. Any further discussion? Otherwise, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11N.
This is for purchase for a portable fume extractor for the Department of Public Works. And the motion is to approve the purchase of the portable fume extractor for welding in the Department of Public Works for $6,496.50.
Trustee Brandmeier,
I make a motion to purchase the portable fume extractor for the Public Works Department.
trustee Baldwin.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by trustee Brandmeier and a second by trustee Baldwin. Any discussion?
Under discussion, I just want to state that these are the last two kind of items in the Public Works Department that was identified in the 2024 facilities plan that the board and staff had completed. Everything else in there has been pretty much taken care of. So at this point, there was a recommendation of putting in welding booths. They're not going to do that because they moved the welder around to where they need to go with trucks and stuff like that. But this fume exhaust thing was one identified issue. And so we originally looked at a portable one attached to the wall and came up with this as a more fluid mechanism to be able to move around the shop. Just for the public's sake, this was an unbudgeted item, but it'll be funded through a safety risk grant that we get from our insurance company. It's about $7,000. They give us a year to use it on safety type of equipment, and this classifies for that.
Yeah, but we talked about this when we did the facility review like 2 years ago. That was a need. So, all right, trustee Thiel. Do you have a comment? Trustee Lancaster.
Thanks. Just want to say good job in finding funding sources. Always loving advice, keep finding grants and different funding opportunities for things. So great job.
Okay, with no further discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11O.
This is the 2026 chip seal program with McMahon Contract for Services. And the motion is to approve the contract with McMahon to assist staff with design, bidding, and construction administration services for the 2026 chip seal program for $9,500.
Trustee Thiel.
I'll move to approve the contract with McMahon to assist staff with design, bidding, and construction administration services for the 2026 chip seal program for $9,500.
Trustee Brandmeier.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion by trustee Thiel and a second by trustee Brandmeier. Any discussion? There being no discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11G.
This is the Eisenhower Drive right-of-way plat with McMahon, and the motion is to approve the McMahon contract for the presentation of a right-of-way plat for the extension of Eisenhower Drive from Midway to Manitowoc Road for $12,000.
Trustee Van Hefty,
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the Eisenhower Drive right away plat, McMahon, it's printed and circulated.
trustee Field.
I'll second now.
So we have a motion by trustee Van Hefty and a second by trustee Field. Any discussion?
Your discussion, I just want to state that originally we didn't believe this was necessary because we were going to try to build this within our right of way, but after the discussion of going after some additional right of way, it precipitated the need to do this right of way plat. And the village's raising company is going to need that as well. So it's part of the process when you're going through this process. So that's why it wasn't originally.
Rick, you had something else? There being no further discussion, or anybody have anything else? Otherwise, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11Q.
This is a pressure tank purchase for the SCBA system for Fire Station 70. And the motion is to purchase a self-contained breathing apparatus, the SCBA compressor / fill station.
Trustee Field,
I will make the motion to purchase an Arctic FCBA compressor fill stations in the amount of $69,112.50 from McQueen Group.
trustee Baldwin.
I'll second the motion.
So we have a motion by trustee Deal and a second by trustee Baldwin. Any discussion? There being no discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11R.
This is the 2026 asphalt resurfacing project to award the contract. And the motion is to approve the award to the low bidder of MCC Incorporated for the 2026 asphalt resurfacing projects for $1,701,905.
Trustee Baldwin,
Motion to approve the award to the low bidder of MCC Inc. for the 2026 asphalt resurfacing projects for $701,905.
trustee Brennmeyer. I'll second it. So we have a motion by trustee Baldwin and a second by trustee Brennmeyer. Any discussion on this?
If I can, I just want to state that there is a savings of about 534,000 from what we originally borrowed for road projects. So as the memo states, we will be looking to resurface Mile Long Road from Handle to Evans Street as part of this project. And then we need to make some winter repairs to the Harrison Road Hill where it appears like the ledge is coming through the road. And there's some water issues happening underneath the road on the hill. So we're gonna be doing some soil borings to see what's going on. And then see if we need to put a tile line or something under it, and then we'll have to make some asphalt repairs, and we're working with Lee's office on that as well. But the savings will be used in those two projects. And then we will hopefully be able to bid them out as part of the Commerce Park final roadway improvements in the coming weeks and award those as part of that project.
And the other thing is, when you look at that dollar amount, this is the largest portion of our budget is these road resurfacing projects, and this has been going on since 2020, I think. So just for the public's sake, we are playing catch up with our roads, and we've been dedicating this amounts 1.7, 1.8, 1.5 million every year. The largest chunk of our budget is to fixing, repairing and getting our roads up to an acceptable level. So, couple more years and I think we're gonna be we can solve it all. Any further discussion? If not, please vote your ballot. Then the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11S.
This is Runaway Shoes Special Events, Runaway to the Bay, and the motion is to approve the special event permit for Runaway to the Bay on April 11th, 2026.
Trustee Theo,
I move to approve the special event permit for Runaway to the Bay on April 11th, 2026.
trustee Brandmeyer.
I'll second it.
So we got a motion by trustee Theo with a second by trustee Brandmeyer. For the runway shoe special event permit. Any discussion? I want to say thanks to Runaway Shoes Special Event. These are the kind of events that we need more of. So I appreciate that this came up and sponsored this. This is adding to the quality of life, more stuff like this. So thank you. There being no further discussion, please vote your ballot. The motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11T.
This is a Ford Explorer purchase for the fire department. And the motion is to purchase a Ford Explorer in the amount of $44,817.50 from Stump Motor Company Incorporated. And Stump provided the lowest of 4 quotes.
Trustee Baldwin,
It's lost in here. Motion to approve the purchase of the Ford Explorer for the fire department. In the amount of $44,817.50 from Stump Motor Company, since they provide the lowest of quotes.
don't be sure, guys. Trustee Theo,
I'll second.
so got a motion by trustee Baldwin and a second by trustee Theo. Any discussion? I guess the only question I had was. Who's all using this vehicle? I mean, is it,
Primarily, we are community risk reduction officer.
that's what I thought, but
And it's really to give an enclosed travel mechanism versus having stuff in an open pickup. And being able to keep some of that stuff in there as he does inspections.
yeah, thanks for the clarification. Thanks. Go ahead.
I suspect that vehicle will have signage indicating the purpose of it, right?
Yeah, it'll be mobile as all line or shots.
Right, as the inspector's truck or fire inspection. I mean, it's typical to see that
So people know why it's all through.
a municipality have that assignment in a vehicle, in a dedicated vehicle.
Trustee Lancaster.
Just one small question, looking at the specs here. Do we really not get a spare tire these days?
You don't get spare tires, no one.
Okay, all right, interesting.
There being no further discussion, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11U.
This is a commercial washing machine, Station 70, and the motion is to approve up to $15,000 for a commercial washing machine for the Fire Station 70 from Delta Company.
Trustee Van Hefty,
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the commercial washing machine for fire station 70. It was recommended.
trustee Theo.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion by trustee Van Hefty and a second by trustee Theo. Any discussions?
So there's one currently at Station 70, which will move over to the new station, and this will be an add-on. So that there's enough space to wash turnout gear after instance.
Critically important that we have this, trustee Lancaster.
Yes, that goes into you answered part of my question, but. We need to start thinking about, so like if this vendor is going to be installing, or timing and things on who's helping move stuff and things like that. Start accounting for some of that, so where it's, like this was professionally installed. So that it's professionally installed and moved and what have you.
Yes, I think we talked about that and we have a plan. Okay, for you.
Trustee Theo,
And you know, you said this was in the budget, this was a line item in the allowances, was it in the,
That is correct.
thank you.
any other discussion? All right, please vote your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11V.
This is the preliminary assessment resolution for the Gem family property on Woodland Road. And the motion is to approve resolution W 2026-02 preliminary resolution of the village board with intent to levy special assessments for public improvements.
Chad, you might need to give some more backdrop on this.
Sure, so about maybe a month ago, the board discussed extending water and sewer from Woodland Road through the Gem property on just north of Woodland, between basically Woodland and the south side of Farmers Field and Shelter. So we had been under contract with McMahon, and Lee has designed water and sewer through the new subdivision that the Gem family is planning to put on that property, which ultimately would bring a water and sewer line into the south side of Farmers Field and be able to connect that new shelter to the water and sewer of Harrison Utilities. The first step in this assessment process, so the improvements which have been bid out and will be coming forth for approval at the April meeting, will be, and it's about $500,000, will be assessed back to the benefited property owners that would benefit from putting a sewer line and water line in. So the first step under state statute is to approve this preliminary resolution, basically directing the village engineer to put together an assessment report, which will come forward and hold a public hearing at the April meeting to share what the proposed assessments will be for each of the property owners that will be benefiting from this sewer and water extension.
Okay. Did you guys get all that?
Yeah.
And it didn't mean to die, but you too as well, trustee.
So I said, did you guys get all that tonight?
Yes.
I did wanna. Extend to that.
Okay, trustee Van Hapty,
Yeah, they can make a motion then. To approve the. Gem Farm. Preliminary assessment resolution, Gem family property, Woodland Road is printed circulated.
trustee Baldwin.
A second.
So we have a motion by trustee Van Hapty and a second by trustee Baldwin. Any discussion? And the Gem family property is aware of this is coming.
Yes. Yes, so there's a memorandum of understanding between the village and the Gem family, and that's outlined in there that they would be assessed for the improvements. They're primarily the beneficiary of these, although the 3 parcels to the east or west of Farmers Field up to Woodland School that have not developed. And they haven't developed because there's no water and sewer lines in there to Road. So they'll have some benefit as well. So they'll be sharing in the cost. But the primary beneficiary factor of this stuff is the Gem family, and they're aware of it.
Trustee Lancaster.
When this comes back, I guess, when these numbers and everything get, because there's other property owners there. Will there also be some consideration coming to the board as if we want to defer those or things like that? Like I know one of the property owners directly to the west. Has no intention to develop anything soon, at least they've always said that, so. Not that they would be shocked by a big bill all of a sudden and become upset at us.
If the property owner you're referring to is on Woodland to the west of this, I don't know that we've included them in this, so if they ever develop, they wouldn't be able to connect on anyway.
Okay, I guess because with general, so there you're, the way you're shaping this, that one must be, yes, the one on Woodland is one I'm thinking of there.
Correct. So they won't be part of this and it's not
Okay.
been designed for them to hook up, so if they're gonna have to, if they're gonna ever develop that, they'll have to just connect into the line along Woodland.
Okay, so it's really it's more of a rectangle. Or not a rectangle, an L.
It's kind of
Or
a
a
E
T, yeah.
in a way, because the Gem family owns the parcel where we're going through,
Right,
and then they own all the way out to County N.
sure.
And then
Sure.
then there's 240s to the west of the Ozell property. And then it's Woodland School, so it would be those 240s. And then a small little chunk behind the Ozells next to Farmers Field soccer fields. And then all of the Gem family property, which goes out to County N.
Okay, that makes sense. I know the two back toward the west where the school wanted to develop, so that makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion on this item? All right, please put your ballot. And the motion passes unanimously. Next up is 11W.
This is open discussion and possible action to discuss current and future contract terms between the village of Harrison and the village of Sherwood and town of Woodville related to a fire service contract and fire station 60 prior to potentially going into closed session to discuss strategy and bargaining authority for the village manager to use in negotiation of fire station 60. And the motion is to proceed into closed session.
I guess. Want Chad to give us an update from when the board packet went out, including our email that was received today.
Yeah, so has all the trustees received the email? If you haven't, I have copies here.
Yes.
So we did receive a notice from the village of Sherwood as of noon today. That's the first correspondence that we've had since the last meeting. We did see there had been some stuff written up in their word packet about the contract. There has been no discussion in detail with Sherwood staff or administrator on the terms of the contract to that matter. From the letter that we did receive, it appears like there is 3 issues that they're raising about, and that's the whether the statutory structure governs what this is, if it's a joint department or a contract for service kind of model, the long-term financial commitments and potential debt implications, and then insurance liability and risk allocation. I have shared this letter this afternoon with the with the village attorney, and Blair is representing Ernie Clark today, and they have a few items to say related to the shared service contract for the board's knowledge on this, but Andy Rossmeisel was involved with the numerous meetings with the creation of the contract. So the concerns about the statutory obligations with the contract, I don't believe are valid. I don't know if you want to see anything at this point.
I would echo that sentiment. I was discussing this with Andy Rossmeisel today. I think this letter at least tips off the word of Sherwood's position. Although they might want something like a shared governance over the fire services. Obviously, the village of Harrison doesn't have to do that if they don't want to. We think that our proposal that we sent over is supported by the statute. And what we've received is essentially just a list of wants and not necessarily needs at this point.
So I guess the question, the question here is, in the timeline that had been presented to both Woodville and Sherwood, there laid out some thoughts on when we needed comments back this letter and the correspondence and my reply back to the administrator this afternoon was, should you have a need to meet, we'd be happy to do so. There hasn't been any request for any follow-up meetings, anything to review terms of the agreement, so, I don't know frankly what we do with this, to be honest with you. It would appear to me that, I don't know if Sherwood is looking for fire service and EMS service from somebody else. It's kind of ambiguous in the letter. In the beginning, you would think that, but by the end, it's, not necessarily that clear. So I guess the question that the board needs to decide is, do you want to continue and wait and see if they come forward with anything further? Do we want to go into closed session and discuss some specific terms? Do we want to make a motion to terminate contract now? With the understanding that if we do terminate today and send notice or serve notice on them, it wouldn't be effective until December 31st of 2026. So we would be still providing service to them till that time, unless we are able to negotiate a new contract between now and then.
Trustee Lancaster.
So my question is, I would actually like to make a motion, but I don't, and I really believe we don't need to go to closed session myself. We have a lot of closed sessions sometimes and for very good reason, obviously, to do so. But I've noticed that Sherwood has had several closed sessions on this and we get random letters then all of a sudden with no communication from them mere hours before our next meeting. And it's happened twice now where it seems like there's this little bit of, I don't know what going on, that they wait and not, many things that they've brought up here. Certainly, they could have reached out to you, Chad, about, and my understanding is many of these questions could have been answered. And I believe it's important for public transparency here, and I guess I'm willing to make a motion at the point without going to closed session is that we're very transparent to Sherwood and we're not trying to hide anything here in Harrison. And this really isn't about the service provided. It's not about the people. It's not about any of that. Like I believe, at least I can speak for myself here, we do want to have a good partnership with them, but part of that partnership is being a good partner and having dialogue. And some of the things that have been where it acted like they didn't know anything was going on for the last year and a half. And like you were meeting with the administrator almost monthly up there. And McMahon, who we hired to do the study, met with them. So for them to come back and act like they didn't know this was going on, I feel like there's a lot of bad faith things happening in bad faith. And where, this has to be equitable and a win-win for everybody. So we have to protect the Harrison taxpayers at the end of the day. And that's who we all answer to, is the Harrison taxpayers. So I don't know if I can make a motion or if the board wants to go to closed session first or what, but that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. I would say, it's my opinion, that I would agree with you, but I do have some questions about content in their email on whether or not we want to entertain some of that. If you've read it, I think that would be pertinent for us to do that before we make a decision, because I think we need to go through that content first, one by one, and okay, where do we stand on each one of their points that they sent us. So I like to go through it and then make a determination on where we go with contract negotiations in closed session. So I hate closed session, I really do, but I think this one's going to be important that we get it right and we do it fairly, and we go through each item one by one to make sure that it's like Matt said, equitable for the Harrison taxpayers. So everyone agree we go to closed session on this item? Next, we have to vote on it now or we wait till,
Or wait. We should go to the next item first.
yeah, we gotta do 11X and 12 and 13 and then we can go, okay. 11X,
This is open discussion and possible action for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business prior to potentially going into closed session to discuss strategy and bargaining authority for the village manager in negotiation of sale of land and possible incentives for a new commercial and retail facility on village-owned property adjacent to State Highway 55. And the motion is to proceed in the closed session.
So, Mr. Chair, just to review a little bit, so we received a request from a developer looking to build a 60,000 square foot retail / commercial facility on approximately 8 to 10 acres of land that the village has adjacent to State Highway 55, basically southeast of the Crossroads Business Park. The developer has requested a TIF incentive payment related to this project. And we would be selling village-owned land at some amount just unasked for, I guess. And then whether the board would support TIF incentives on this project valued at somewhere between 6 and 7 million.
so myself having reviewed this situation, I think it is important that we go into closed session because I want to make sure that my fellow board members understands that when it comes to what we're gonna see here, we need to ultimately treat everybody equally. So I want to make sure that we talk about that in closed session before we finalize a decision on what we're doing. You guys might want to go somewhere else, I got, it's up to you, but I think we'll go into closed session in this one, that's clear. Okay, you got
I gotta read the whole section, we gotta go.
well, we got 11 or we got 12A, which is future agenda items. Anyone have any future agenda items? If not, then we'll move on to future meetings. The next meeting, everyone sent a response to Chad on the April 21st special meeting with the Plan Commission.
Yes, I received a word from all of you. I have not received a quorum from the planning commission yet, so we can start making phone calls by tomorrow or Thursday, and once we know, we'll let you know.
And then we have and in that meeting too, we will reseat a
One
planning
member on
commission.
the planning commission.
And then end of April meeting, that's April 28th, and then we have a May 26th meeting, but I would suggest to leave a future Tuesday evening open in case Sherwood wants to have a meeting or Woodville wants to have another meeting, so just keep eyes on it as a potential meeting that we may have between now and, was it June 1st?
Yes.
Okay, next up is closed session. I think we need to vote on that first, right?
Yeah, I think I got it right here. So, the board, may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851E for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating the purchase of public properties, investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically a negotiation of sale of land and possible incentives for a new commercial / retail facility on village-owned property adjacent to State Highway 55. Attendees may include the board, village manager, finance director, treasurer, village clerk, fire chief, and village attorney. And then item B, the board may convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute section 19.851E for the purpose of deliberating or negotiating contract terms wherever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically to discuss strategy and bargaining authority to be used by the village manager in negotiations related to the fire service contract with the village of Sherwood and the town of Woodville and discussion of renovations to Fire Station 60. Attendees may include the board, village manager, finance director, treasurer, village clerk, fire chief, and village attorney.
We made a motion and a second to go into closed session with a roll call votes. Trustee Bolden,
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
trustee Brennmeyer,
I'll second it.
We got a motion by trustee Baldwin and a second by trustee Brentmeyer. This will be a roll call vote. Trustee Lancaster.
Aye.
Trustee Brentmeyer. Aye. Trustee Van Hefty.
Aye.
Trustee Teal.
Aye.
Trustee Baldwin.
Aye.
And I also vote aye. We are now in closed session. We'll take a short 5-minute break.
It's there. I get some.